Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting. It's Friday, October 27th, 2023. Our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories. If anybody has any landing stories or any good news to share, we'll then have everybody put their 30-second introductions into the chat window. And for those here in the room, they'll be able to give their 30-second introductions to everybody. We'll then hear our committee reports, hear about the practice interview team, the interview success workshop, the career tip of the week, and then our main event right around the top of the hour. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just enter them into the chat window. For those watching on Facebook this morning, thank you for being with us. Please feel free to put any questions you've got into the comment field. I am monitoring both feeds and we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. We've been meeting here at Christ United Methodist Church since the very beginning. I took the group over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I saw a need and I created a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon, or I always have copies with me in person. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. You'll hear more about that in just a moment, also known as the PIC crew. Well, we'd like to start the meeting off with good news. Any landings out there? Anybody have any good news they'd like to share? Any landings or good news in here to share? No donuts, so I don't know. It's a donutless Friday. Come on, people. Go get a job. Bring us some donuts. We'd like to have some donuts. All right, well, let's move on here. Okay, what we'd like everybody to do who's online right now, if you will, open up the chat window and give us your name, comma, phone number, comma, email address, comma, position you're looking for, comma, 2 or 3 target companies, and then hit the return key. I will take all this information. I will add it along with everybody who's here in the room today, and we will get that information out into an email. It probably will not come out this afternoon because I'm traveling as soon as I leave this meeting today. So it could be Monday. I'm not sure. It'll come out, but could be a couple days before I get it out. So please, if you can, I'll use this to update the roster. So if you're using this for a workforce session, we'll have a record of it just in case. So we'll put 30 seconds on the clock. Please go ahead and start putting in your information.
All right, Dave.
All righty. If you're still typing away, please continue to type away. All right, what we want to do now is let everybody here in the room. Let me get that camera up here. Hold on a second. So you can see who's here. There we go. Well, you can only a couple of people have sat in camera view, but there are more people here. So please go ahead. Give us your 30-second introduction.
All right, my name is Wilford Griffin. What I do, I'm in operations, so I do supply chain operation and manufacturing operation as well. What I need help on really any type of leads or contacts in those types of industries, distribution or manufacturing. In terms of my contact or targeted companies, probably the first one would be Honeywell. Second is Walmart distribution, and third would be Collin Aerospace or Raytheon. So again, my name is Wilford Griffin.
Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin. I'm currently seeking a data analyst role, and I help do the research necessary for companies to make informed data-driven decisions to help them improve their bottom line. I'm currently looking for contacts at NTT Data and Sedgwick. Again, my name is William McLaughlin. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Phil Elsner. I've been a member of this group as long as Jeff has, and it's done a lot of great work. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm a senior project manager professionally and have had the PMP for about 15 years. I'm active in the Dallas chapter of Project Management Institute, and I love the flexibility that comes with being a project manager. It's mostly analysis and communication, as you know. I have a great time doing it, and mostly in the telecom and in the medical field. My degrees are all biomedical sciences. The last few years, I've succeeded my late dad as the executive producer of high school football broadcasts from my hometown of Odessa, Texas. There's a lot of overlap between project management and that job, believe it or not. But I have a good time doing it. Again, I'm Phil Elsner.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Saunders. I do healthcare administration. I help healthcare entities deliver quality care from a cost-conscious perspective. I need contacts at SCA, UT Southwestern, Parkland, or THR. My name is Jonathan Saunders.
Hello, my name is Mark Knezik. I'm an IT application project manager with operations experience. I deliver application software projects and then can support them in your environment. My target companies are Cognizant and Tyler Technologies. My name is Mark Knezik.
Good morning. My name is Nada Al-Graishi. My background, I have over 25 years of experience in the global mobility arena, where my previous employer sent me overseas to set up operations in EMEA. I was successful doing that. I was sent to Asia to do the same thing. And then upon my coming back, I joined a global supply chain, and I've been doing that for the past 10 years. I'm looking for global mobility in the corporate, on the corporate end, or global supply chain job. My name is Nada Al-Graishi.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Crawford. I am a writer with skills in copywriting and technical writing. I turn complex ideas and information into relatable content. So I'm looking for contacts at Garver, specifically their waste and water plant in Frisco, and Collin Community College. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very, very much. Let's see here. Let me turn that camera off. Remove spotlight. Here we go. All right. Two totally free websites that are out there. If you know somebody who's unemployed, somebody recently unemployed, somebody's been unemployed for a while, if you meet somebody, they don't know about Career DFW or careerusa.org, two totally free websites that are out there. They don't collect any personal information. They're just there to help you in your job search. Both websites have been totally redesigned using a new software package. If you happen to find something that doesn't work, please let me know so I can fix it. I know I got one email this week with a couple broken links, and I've got to work on that. But if you happen to find anything that doesn't work on either of the websites, please, please, please let me know so I can help you, so I can help fix it, so I can share the information. One of the things that you'll find on the Career DFW website is a bunch of calendars. And on those calendars, there's all sorts of events. The pink events are job fairs, the gold are special workshops, the blue are those networking groups that are meeting in person in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and the purple are those groups that are meeting online. So there's something going on, and be sure to scroll down to see the nighttime stuff that's happening, because there's stuff going on in this community, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, almost every day of the week. All right, let me talk a second about the practice interview team. The practice interview team meets to help you with your interview. Your resume, your LinkedIn profile, they're not going to get you a job. All they get you is a phone call. And people spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. They spend a lot of time working on the resume, but you don't spend a lot of time practicing your interviewing skills. One of the things that the practice interview does, and it's totally free, is offer a practice interview. Their motto is practice early, practice often. Just practicing once may not help. One of the issues I know we talked about this past week and with the leadership group was people are contacting us going, I've got an interview tomorrow. Can you help me out? Well, no, we really can't. We need 2 to 4 days out to try to schedule something because all the interviews are done by other hiring managers, people who either they're unemployed, currently looking, or they're retired. They want to help you out, but we need a couple days to prepare. So one of the things when we say practice early, practice often, the practice part is just go find a job description that you'd be interested in, send that in along with your resume, and practice now, practice a couple times. We find that it may take 3 or 4 times before you really get good at what we do. The nice thing about this is you'll get feedback after the interview. It's usually a panel interview. It'll be 2 or 3 people that'll be doing the interviewing with you. You'll get feedback from them. You'll probably get 20 minutes, 30 minutes of feedback, whatever it is on what you've talked about. The interview lasts about 45 minutes. So you're talking about an hour and a half total time, a little bit less than an hour and a half. So just send in your resume, send in a job description, send it to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. Now, the PIT crew is also meeting in person on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of the month. So this coming Wednesday, being November 1st, they will be meeting in person. I know they currently have 1 person lined up for an in-person interview. We'd love to have a 2nd or a 3rd. So please come join us, because just by watching other people being interviewed, you will learn as much as you are just by being interviewed. So that'll be the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of each month. There is no online option next Wednesday. So if you want to come do it, come join us in person. All right, time to hear about the Interview Success Workshop. Walt, good morning.
Well, good morning, everyone. And Phil, I was thinking about Odessa, but I've heard you can't get there from here. I-20, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a panelist on the PIT crew, and I heartily support that and suggest that everyone take advantage of that opportunity to practice. As I looked at the PIT crew back in 2000, after I was laid off from a job, and I screwed up an interview. I didn't need any feedback on that first interview. I knew right away that everything I did was practically wrong. So I did a deep dive into interviewing and said, we really have to look at our perspective and our mindset going into that interview. Most of us go in there with a responsive mindset. We want to respond to questions, and we're trying to learn how to answer these questions. My philosophy is on this is that we need to learn how to sell ourselves, because everyone agrees it's a selling situation. So how do we do that? And what are we selling? Well, everyone says ourselves. And when I ask you to define that, there's a long pause. Well, I've come to develop 3-legged stool that says we're selling who we are, our soft skills, our personality, our characteristics, what we do and how we do it. So that's our knowledge and skills and actions and activities that we take, and how we can then help. So we want to combine who we are with what we do in order to provide value to the corporation, to the company. I do this through the Interview Success Workshop. It is free. You have to be registered to attend. It's very informal. That QR code will start an email to begin your registration process. All I need is how you learned about it, your phone number, and of course, I'll have your email address through that email to come register. I do it mostly on Tuesdays, 9 to 11, and it's on Zoom. So it's free. There's no cost to attend and participate. All I need is a job description. I like to have your resume, but I don't go over resumes. I use that for background information, but we look at job descriptions to see if your responses are relevant to that job. That's all you have to do that. I don't want to create an environment of stress, anxiety, fear, life flashing in front of your eyes, pressure, where you have to sit there and worry about what you're going to do and how it looks. All that interferes with our thinking. So it's very informal. You can start over. You can pause and think. In fact, I practically want everyone to pause before they answer a question, just to practice pausing. It's easy to do. We're going to cover the 12 basic categories of questions, the motives behind those questions, and options to how we might respond to those questions. So we'll interview, we'll discuss, and we'll say, what can we do to improve ourselves? So the workshop is labeled Learning Without Squirming. I enjoy giving reviews about winning job interviews. Give the workshop a turn, come practice to learn, win the job and chase away boo-hoos.
All right, it's time to hear about the career tip of the week. There's a brand new career tip of the week on the Career DFW and Career USA websites. Every Saturday, a new tip pops up. So Rosanna is with us today, and she's going to read this week's tip. Good morning, Rosanna.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. All right, this week's tip of the week, love it. It is dated October 22nd of 2023, and it's 54% of workers didn't negotiate their most recent job salary. Salary negotiation varies by industry, but seems similar across genders, according to Glassdoor data. And this article is written by Carolyn Christ. More than half of professionals didn't negotiate the salary for their most recent job, according to a September 19th report from Glassdoor. The percentages vary widely based on the industry and age, but are equal for men and women, and that's what the data shows. Salary negotiation is one of the most common topics professionals seek content on, but it's still hard to get a macro understanding of who's negotiating and who isn't, and that's according to the Glassdoor economic research team. In a survey of nearly 6,700 professionals on Fishbowl by Glassdoor, 54% said they didn't negotiate their most recent salary, while 46% said they did. By industry, salary negotiation was most common among advertising, marketing, and tech professionals at 67%, 62%, and 56% respectively. At the opposite end, graduate students had the lowest negotiation percentage at 22%, followed by accounting and law professionals at 37%. By the gender binary, men and women are equally as likely to negotiate. About 46% of both men and women said they negotiated their most recent salary. New laws around pay transparency could influence salary negotiation tactics. Nearly 7 in 10 workers have said they'd likely demand to be paid at the highest end of the salary range, according to the Resume Builder survey. And in addition, 6 in 10 said they'd request equivalent pay if they found out their coworkers were being paid more for the same job. Despite increasing support for pay equity, systemic barriers and other factors still block access to negotiating power. For instance, women are more likely to be rejected when negotiating for higher pay with respective employers, according to Pew Research Center survey. Pay transparency can help narrow the gender pay gap during the salary negotiations in some cases, but it doesn't address every factor on the table, according to a recent study by University of Delaware researchers. Job candidates vary on how they seek information about a job and its salary, as well as traits such as aggressiveness and competitiveness, which can influence negotiation tactics. You know, this is a very interesting article to me because when I first read it as a recruiter, I'm like, okay, thinking about it from the recruiter standpoint, negotiation starts when that recruiter or you get on that phone interview. That's when you are outlining your salary range of what you're looking for. To me, that's the starting point. So my advice as a professional in the talent acquisition area is make sure you know what your salary ranges are and be clear on that up front. On our Thursday night call, and I'll make sure I have the information in the chat in a few minutes. Last night, we were talking about that. And during Q&A, one of the questions came up to a candidate, that they said, what's the best way to answer the salary negotiation question or the salary range question? But then what happens when a recruiter comes behind you and asks, how did you come up with that figure? And so one of the things I would say is, your response could be based on my research from various salary sites and job posting advertisements with salary ranges included in them for this job title and this job in our area. Here's my salary range, the range of blank to blank. And I find that to be fair and equitable for this role. Another response from the host last night was dead on. She said, you can always respond with a salary range, but you want to make sure you're outlining the value that you're going to bring and the accomplishments that you've done in your past. So you could say, based on the value that I can bring, according to looking at some of my accomplishments at my previous employer, such as I generated $7 million in my previous role, bringing in revenue that didn't initially exist. I mean, her answer was, when you are asked about dollars, whether that's from your recruiter, your hiring manager, or HR, you always respond with value that you bring or the accomplishments that you could possibly transition into that role. All right, well, this is the career tip of the week, and I hope the added extra is an added extra. Well, and again, this tip of the week is dated October 22nd, and it's 54% of workers didn't negotiate their most recent job salary. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Take care.
Rosanna, thank you very, very much. All right, today for lunch, come join us 11:45. I think everybody needs to eat lunch at some point. And I think some people probably haven't had breakfast yet. So come join us for lunch. You can get this burger if you want, but you do need to bring your own sliced ham. They don't have sliced ham to put on a burger like this. Come join us, Country Burger, 3115 West Parker Road. It's on the northwest corner of Parker and Independence. Burger, salads, chicken sandwiches, and more. Just come join us at 11:45. Continue the networking, continue the, getting to meet everybody and get to know everybody a little bit better. All right, in just a moment, our speaker is here to talk about how to use ChatGPT to improve your resume and cover letter. Holly Adams will be with us in just a moment. Upcoming sessions, next Friday being the first Friday of November. As we do every first Friday, we'll do open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about. So come up with your questions, think about issues you're having, questions you want to ask, and everybody here gets to give feedback. So that's what's going on. And then in 2 weeks, excuse me, it's hard to believe, but Career DFW turns 15. I can't believe it's been 15 years since I started their website. So I'm going to give a little quickie presentation on sort of how Career DFW got started. And we'll just sort of share some of my top career tips that I've found over the last 15 years. All right, it's time for our main event. Our speaker today is Holly Adams. She's a learning and development professional, a certified core clarity facilitator and coach. If you're not sure what core clarity is, it's if you take strength finders, it's taking those strengths and putting it into a formula to be able to help explain how you and your team work together. So Holly, thank you very much for being with us. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this presentation. So I'll turn it over to you. It's all yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeff. I hope I don't disappoint. We'll have some really good interaction today. I want people to ask questions along the way. So before we really dive into things, I'm gonna kind of create a big screen and seeing everybody's faces, who are at least showing their faces, or you can raise your hand through the application Zoom. But I'm wondering, who has used ChatGPT at all for anything, whether it's your resume or any kind of writing? So we do have a few people that have dabbled in it. Okay, so looks like we have a lot more people maybe that haven't dabbled in it. So we have, Sally raised her hand. Thank you. So that's good. Thank you for letting me know who's who's been dabbling around in it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And while I'm sharing my screen, I am going to tell you that I own my own business, Aha Learning Moments. So let's make sure that we're sharing the right screen. Hopefully you guys are seeing just the PowerPoint presentation. Jeff, can you confirm, or somebody say, yep, good. Okay. Awesome. So Aha Learning Moments, I am 17 years in training and development. And so with my business now, I am helping small to medium-sized companies that maybe don't have a training department at all, but need employee training, or maybe they even have a project that they're executing, a process change within their company on board, or a larger company that already has a training department. They might have a particular project that they need to augment their staff. So that's where I come into play with my business. So, but today we're going to use AI to improve our resumes and also write cover letters. So let me kind of share some of our objectives with you today. First, which artificial intelligence application should you use? So we'll cover several and show you several. And Jeff, I was wondering too, I know I shared a job aid with you. Has that already gone out to the team?
Send that out to every
Oops.
afternoon when I send out my email to everybody who's attended today.
Okay, great. So just so you guys know, I created like a little job aid or cheat sheet with some information that I'm going to be sharing with the PowerPoint today. So you'll receive that from Jeff. So you'll have some of these same resources that I'll be sharing with you guys. Also, obviously, giving you some suggestions to improve your resume using AI. So we'll dabble in that. And also suggestions for writing a cover letter. I use a template, so it has paragraphs in there that I use all the time, but then catering some paragraphs that we can use interchangeably. So we'll write some of those and create some new cover letters. And then also talk a little bit about the security of AI and if there are any risks associated with that. At the end of our presentation too, if we have a little bit of time left over, if there's any of you that want AI to, let's say, change a summary that you may have in your resume, we can take some of yours by using the chat feature here. We can take some of those and actually work on them here in the presentation at the end. So just to start us off, here are some AI applications and resume builders. So I had found an article that listed a lot of different applications to use to build resumes. So you can see the first 4 or 5 on this list are free for you to use, but then there are some that, build resumes. And so the last 3 have some free services, but then they also have some paid plans that you can use. For me personally, I didn't want to use a resume builder because I wanted the authenticity of myself and my personality to come out in my resume. So I'm just using ChatGPT to enhance some of the things that I have in my resume, some of the bullet points, my professional summary, to enhance that and hopefully improve it, create some different wording, make sure I get the appropriate keywords for job descriptions that I might be looking for or looking at and applying for. So I was just using those for those keywords. So again, these particular ones that we've bulleted will be on the job aid or resource document that Jeff is sending out at the end. So in this particular session, I'm going to be using ChatGPT, and again, just enhancing a resume because I want to improve what you guys have already written. We're not starting from scratch and writing a resume. So just so you know, when we were setting some expectations for the session today. So you want your resume to be authentic. So you want your individual personality to come through. So like I've said before, we're going to just polish our resume, not write the entire thing. Just trying to keep our personality in that resume and having it come forward with us. So here's where we're going to start some of the hands-on. I'm going to be going back and forth from some screen sharing. So hopefully I can do that nice and smoothly for you guys. But we're going to use ChatGPT now to revise small sections of our resume, specifically our summary. So I'm going to just step away from this for a second. Give me just a minute to exit out of this, hopefully, and go into, I'm just in Chrome. Let me hide this bar at the top. Floating controls, go into ChatGPT. So again, ChatGPT, I have the link on the resource document that you're going to get from Jeff. But I'm going to go into my resume. So you should be seeing my resume on screen, and I have a professional summary at the top. So I'm going to copy this professional summary with just the little Control C, go back into ChatGPT, and I'm going to tell it these, when it says send a message, these are what they call prompts with artificial intelligence. So I'm going to say, that I need help revising my professional summary. And we can click the little button here, and then I'm going to paste my professional summary in. So it's telling me, of course, I'd be happy to help you. So I pasted my current summary, and now the result, it has yielded a whole new paragraph or two. What we definitely want to do when it yields a result is that you want to read through this. And again, this is something you want your personality to shine through. So I'm going to end up reading through this. And let's say I want to keep it as is, or maybe I just want to copy it here and then go back into my resume and go ahead and do a paste. I'm going to keep my formatting. So let's say I paste it all in there, and now I'm going to edit. So I can go in and decide what I want. It's also, it might be, writing it in a different context. I want to make sure, because artificial intelligence is taking all this information out in the whole wide world, and it's pulling it in. And for your particular job or your summary, it may not fully understand the context of what you're doing, or when you write that original professional summary and you're just trying to improve it. So that's why you want to always read through what it yields in terms of the result, and make sure that it's appropriate for you and that all the context is great. So here it says, as a highly accomplished learning and development professional and seasoned project manager, I'm widely acknowledged for my exceptional organization skills. I delivered this presentation last week as well. And somebody gave me a really good tip that I hadn't even thought of, is to read what it yields out loud. And if it doesn't roll off your tongue and sound like something that you would say, especially in an interview, as you're kind of, you want your interview, what you say in an interview to reflect what they've read in your resume too. So if you're reading this out loud and it doesn't roll off your tongue nicely, or you stop at a particular word that you really don't say, then that's when you know that you would want to change that particular word again to reflect your personality and create a more authentic resume. So I thought that was a really good tip, and I was glad that she said that. So I'm widely acknowledged for my exceptional organizational skills, results-driven focus, and adept at cross-functional collaboration. So let's say I wouldn't use the word adept, but maybe we've already used the word exceptional. So I could even, if I didn't delete the word, I could even highlight it and go in, because I'm in a Word document, I can go up and look at the thesaurus and even go into, except I don't know where the source is. I could go in and use the thesaurus to create that or come up with a different word. But just kind of read through and see what sounds good to you and make that modification. I personally like copying the whole thing and then altering it in my Word document. But the other thing that you can do is, if you didn't care for what the result yielded, you can always go back in and do another prompt and say, can you change this, or can you help me? Maybe you even want to say, I am not writing a professional summary, but I'm doing something else so that it will yield a different kind of result. And say, maybe you want it to be more concise, but once you're done with whatever you're wanting to do specifically in AI for, let's say, the professional summary, let's say I want to go to something different in my resume. I'm going to start a whole new chat up here in the upper left-hand corner. So it clears out all that previous activity. So I'm ready to start new. Otherwise, it's going to remember what you've been doing, and it's going to reflect off of that information. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint quickly and cover one more thing. So the other thing is that another thing that you can do in addition to your summary is to help find keywords using a particular job description. So you might just pull up, like for me, mine would be like a training manager or a training specialist, but I can grab a job description. And let's say I want to make sure that my resume has some keywords. I might be using some keywords in my cover letter. So I'm going to use ChatGPT to come up with those keywords. So again, I'm going to exit out of my slideshow for a second, and I'm going to copy and paste this part because I got that specifically out of an article to help me with keywords. And then I'm going to go into ChatGPT, and I'm going to paste this information that we had. So again, I need to now, because we're doing a copy and paste, I need to go in and I'm going to put in what that training role is. So let's say training manager, and extract relevant keywords that could be used to enhance my resume for applying for this position. Now I'm going to go into a position in LinkedIn, and I'm going to copy the job description, all the relevant points that I need. Control C, go back into ChatGPT. So here you see start of job description and end of job description. So I'm going to clear through here and paste my text for my job description so I can see the keywords that it yields. Once I have this information, I'm going to hit the green button again. So here I have asked for it to provide me with some keywords, and I provided the job description. I'm scrolling down. I see the green. There was an error. but it still gave me some really good information. I don't know, I've never come across an error before, but based on the provided job description for training manager, here are some relevant keywords. So it's given me quite a nice list of keywords that I could use both in my resume and with my cover letter if needed. So you can see all these different keywords. I'm wondering what the regeneration looks pretty similar, but it gave me even more. So based on what I put in, it's giving me some keywords then that I can use again in my resume and cover letter. So I'm going to go up to the upper left and I'm going to hit that new chat. So we'll be ready for the next one. Go back to our presentation. And so those, again, are a couple different ways that we can use ChatGPT, both for a resume and finding those keywords. So just wanted to share those. And again, always review and revise what ChatGPT yields in terms of the if you need to revise that prompt, if let's say those keywords weren't targeted, weren't good targets or weren't good words for you to use if you're reviewing the list, surely you could find at least 2 or 3 that you could pull out from that list of, I think it was like 29. But if you needed to revise the prompt, you could also do that too. Maybe instead of training manager, you might do training specialist and find a different job description that could yield some different results there. If you wanted to as well, you could go into your resume. I use bullets in my resume. Let me share that with you too, so you can kind of see what my resume looks like. So I have my professional summary. That's what we had just pasted in there. But I have different bullet points for jobs that I've had. So I could also use ChatGPT to revise some of these as well. So if I went in and did, again, a quick copy, go in, we said that we had already cleared this out. So I'm going to just tell it bullets for resume that need to be refined. And or maybe that I need help. Bullets. And then I'm going to paste those in and see to make resume bullet points. Let's see, more impactful and concise. Oh, here. Oh, it's so again, it didn't really yield what I wanted it to yield. So it's telling me how to make the revisions. So I might add in there and just say, help me refine. And then add in my bullets there. Maybe that will, there we go. Refined versions of your relevant resume bullet points. So here it has now revised some of those bullets that I had added in. So again, I can copy and paste that. It's another part of your resume. And you could go through each section of your resume and use it and just see what it yields, because you're making the choice to whether you want to use that or not. So I'm going to head back to our presentation. And here is the cover letter template that I have created. So you can see that I have a general paragraph at the very top, being able to add in what job board I found, where I found the posting, what the company, what the specific position that I'm applying for. So I'm going to use that every single cover letter. I have the next paragraph is kind of a summary of what I feel like bringing to the table. And then the bottom paragraphs are especially the last one, how to connect with me, and just some other ones that kind of summarize some of my key skills. But I do have some paragraphs in there where it says insert paragraph, that based on the job description that I'm applying for, the job that I'm applying for, I want to cater those. So you can, I just think that this makes it a little bit faster to create a cover letter. And I've heard from several people too that they don't always create cover letters for every job. And most of the time I see a field where you can attach a cover letter. I've also heard that some people don't read them, but if there's a field, I always want to provide that information. So you can use ChatGPT to help you create your template. So again, just maybe write something initially, but then you could go back and have ChatGPT help you with that. So I'm going to do that very quickly. I'm going to go into my template, and let's say I'm going to copy this paragraph and then go into ChatGPT and say, help me revise a paragraph. A horrible typist. Help me revise a paragraph for about my qualifications. I had said something in my prompt one time when I was practicing about a cover letter, and it generated the whole cover letter. So I guess you could do it that way too if you want, if you don't want to take the time to write the cover letter. But I'm gonna now paste this in. And you can always see too what I pasted in and what ChatGPT is giving me. So here is the revised paragraph. Throughout my career, I've consistently demonstrated my proficiency in project management. So again, I can copy this information. Control C, I can go back into my cover letter and merge with my formatting and put that in my cover letter if I want it. So again, just continuing to use ChatGPT and go back between what you're trying to write and in ChatGPT. So going back and forth with all that. Let me go to our next slide. So use artificial intelligence to improve or polish the letter, change generic terms to ones that fit your personality style, always. So then I don't think, there we go. And then use AI to write those interchangeable paragraphs for cover letters. So I then created a whole other Word document. I wrote paragraphs about my qualifications in different areas based on job descriptions that I've read. So for development, for example, some people want you to do technical training. Some people want you to do sales training. And so I thought back to my own career and created little paragraphs for each one of those, which I'll show you in just a second. And then once we've written those interchangeable paragraphs, then we can use ChatGPT, copy and paste, and then refine some of those paragraphs. So again, like I said, I'm going to go back and forth. But here's the Word document that I created. So I just, name it content for cover letters, and you can see that I have a lot of different paragraphs that I can copy and paste and put into that letter template, the cover letter template. But let's say I wanted to use AI to refine my technical paragraph. So I'm going to copy that, go back into ChatGPT. I need to start a new chat because we're doing something else. And this is, again, a paragraph. Need to refine paragraph about my technical skills. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to paste and send that in. Of course, please provide the paragraph. And so we do that. I pasted it in, and then it gave me a whole other paragraph. So if I wanted to, I can go in again, copy, and go into my paragraph or my document and paste here. And I can keep both versions if I want. And again, refining, making it sound like something that you would say, and having a whole new paragraph that you could use interchangeably with your cover letter here. So again, if I wanted to, I would just go in. I have that, let's say I liked exactly what it said. I just go in to insert paragraph, and then I didn't do the merging. So it came up with a black background, but then I would paste that into my document, and then I can, continue and paste whatever paragraphs are appropriate for that job. And then you save it to your computer and upload it for when you're applying for that particular job posting. So let me go back into our presentation. So again, just polishing the content, and like I said before, it changes, or it has a particular context for things. So like the technical training, for example, if it doesn't really understand, or it's pulling information from other searches, AI searches, to yield my result. Again, it's got its own little brain, artificial intelligence does. And if it doesn't understand what you're asking for, either because of the prompt that you put in, or even the verbiage that you've pasted in, you want to keep refining that, or changing generic terms that they might be using to more industry terminology that would be in an interview, that you would use in an interview. So just keep that in mind, and you're just always going to be refining the information. Here we're talking a little bit about the security of AI and what the risks are. So there's some, for what we're doing as it relates to resumes and cover letters, it's mainly data and privacy breaches. You might encounter some kind of plagiarism or even copyright infringement when it's specific to resume writing and cover letters. But one of the best practices is to avoid sharing any personal information with AI, because again, it uses what people have put into it to provide some of its results, or it's pulling down out of the World Wide Web and pulling that information. So if you put personal information like your email address, your phone number, your address, it's kind of storing that information. So it's best if you're using it to create a whole resume, or using one of those resume builders that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation, then you'll want to avoid putting true information in there about your address. I would either just put gobbledygook and just type away, and just put like a placeholder in there, or put fake information in there, and then adjust it once you download from the resume builder, and just download it and enter in your accurate information. I have included a link here about some special tips. And even when you do have employment and you're using ChatGPT or AI in your job, this particular article will talk a little bit more about the risks of using AI as it relates to, cybersecurity and things. And I think cybersecurity, so many companies now are hiring cybersecurity companies to help maintain and make sure there are no breaches within a company. So I think everybody's addressing AI with their own businesses, but within their own businesses. But let me just show you too. There's some articles out here. Here's one of the article that's in your resource document, AI and cybersecurity, the risks of AI. So it tells you a little bit about what AI is, but then goes into even more detailed information. One thing that we didn't talk about, I don't think you would be using this for your resume specifically, but there's a whole other aspect of AI that's called generative AI, and it's used to generate like custom music, custom images, everything like that. So you're putting in a prompt to yield some kind of custom voice, music, images. So I kind of dabbled around and played with that a little bit as it related to images. I've been attending a lot of webinars about artificial intelligence, and somebody raised their hand. So was that Kelly? Did somebody want to come off mute and ask a question? Let me also look through the chat while we're doing this too.
Yeah, Holly,
Yeah.
we are having internet issues. You've frozen, we've frozen here just a couple times. Just
Oh my goodness.
FYI.
Is there anything that I need to go back to?
No, I think we pretty much got everything. I guess my couple questions are like,
Yeah.
I like the fact that you've got a document that has like your paragraphs depending on how you, for technical, for the different skills you've got. Yeah, for the different things that
Right.
you put in the cover letter. Would you ever like suck in your entire resume and go, please give me one paragraph that describes my technical skills? I mean, would you ever do something that extreme, or is this something where you sort of just took, these are just paragraphs that you like and you're just having them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say you can eat an elephant if you chop it into little pieces. So I kind of think of things more in little pieces versus global. You could put in your whole resume if you wanted to and just say, you could just see what it yielded. We could even practice that right now if we wanted to, just to see, I wonder what kind of stuff is going to come out of it. So let me just even,
Well,
I don't,
top part, why don't you start from your experience down and just see?
right. Yeah, again, because I don't want that personal information there. So even I'm just going to do the first two jobs, and I'll do a copy, go into, oops, here we go again. Hide the ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, help me find my resume. And then I'm going to paste it. Oh, paste it there. It looks like you've made a strong start here. Let it finish all the scrolling. Looks like you've made a strong start with your resume, but here to further refine, consider the following suggestions. Consistency. Oh, it's now then just giving me feedback about my resume instead of oh, here's an example of your professional summary, how it could be expanded. So it did give some tips, but it didn't necessarily refine the resume itself. So, but I could go in and try to do a different prompt also, and see what other kind of results it yielded. So, you know, consistency in formatting, action verbs, highlighting soft skills, tailoring. So again, some people have multiple resumes depending on jobs that they're applying for, or even specific qualifications for a job. So you might have multiple resumes. You could obviously use ChatGPT for to refine multiple resumes. You know, I found it really interesting. I had a friend send me, I think it was like an Instagram reel, which I thought was, this idea was completely stellar, is that you put in a job description and you say, based on this job description, what questions would an interviewer or an HR representative ask me for this particular job? And then it yielded some results. And then the next prompt that the person put in, so maybe you copy and paste into a document to have those questions. And then the person did a reverse prompt in ChatGPT, cleared it out and said, as a candidate, how would I answer these particular questions? And then copy and pasted the questions in, and it gave a response about how they would, how an interview, a candidate would reply to those. So the person that created the Instagram reel is basically getting the questions, getting answers, and then refining that to their particular personality, and then maybe practicing those with the pit crew. So that would be really good too.
Yes.
And then
Sally in the chat window put, I've used my whole resume and asked ChatGPT to compare it to the job description, summarizing it in 2 paragraphs for the compatibility. So
yeah,
it's like using job scans just to see how well things match up.
absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's a whole other, the way that you could use ChatGPT too, in addition to your resume. I just wanted to touch too, just really quickly, and just show, because again, this is something that you guys are going to get when you get the reference document. But here's the article about the resume builders. And I just went through this list of 8. I didn't use all of them in my reference document, but I think I provided the list to this actual article, but it lists kind of the pros and cons of using each one. And, you know, I went into each one just to see, is it truly just free, or is it, you know, do you have some plans that you would have to pay for? So you guys can kind of look at each of these, as well as another, this was another article that I put into that reference document too, about, you know, can ChatGPT write a winning resume? And so it gives the kind of the pros and cons, how many people are using it, how many people aren't, and just, again, everything, the limitations, lack of personality, biases, you know, again, because it's pulling out of other prompts that they've done, algorithms, everything on the internet, and it's pulling all this information down to be able to respond. It's using its artificial brain to kind of respond to your answers. So it may take things out of context, but I thought this was a really good article to reference. Here's even that one area about using ChatGPT to help with the keywords. So you can see that there. So a lot of great information in the document that that Jeff will send to you too. So with that, I also just wanted to, here's some resources. Again, the article that I just showed you, the 8 best AI resume builders, if you want to use it to build a whole resume. And you might just, try to do that and just see what it yields. I mean, it can't hurt, right? To try to use it to build an entire resume and then take bits and pieces of it to put into yours. But then a couple other articles too about the tips and prompt examples. So I feel like this is some good information here, which will be in your reference document. And also there was a whole interview coach, like you guys have the pit crew, and that's, I think I might even take advantage of that too in the very near future, just even to get additional business for myself or whatever, because when I meet with clients, we're both kind of interviewing each other. Like, I'm learning more about their business and what their needs are, but they're interviewing me as a company to see if they want to, hire me to do some of their training and development. So the pit crew would be great. And here's another AI job interview coach, so you can prepare for your interviews. So let's take a minute and just talk about any additional questions that you guys may have. I'll even end the presentation and end my sharing so we can all see each other and see what questions people have. Did anything else come up through the chat, Jeff?
I didn't see anything in the chat window, but if anybody's got any questions, comments,
Yeah.
questions, just grab the mic here. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, or do you want us to wait? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, this is Phil. I was scribbling as fast as I can. I hope I can read my writing. You prompted 3 questions in my mind. First one is, I think everybody's worried that AI apps will replace human work. We should probably say later. But is metadata attached to the content that is sent out after AI helps recreate it? And another question is, does the AI app keep or, God forbid, own the text that we put in there for improvement?
I'm not hearing him very well. It's a little garbled, so I wasn't sure. I think I heard that using something about the text that you put in.
Can you hear me better?
You
Just the way.
want to repeat one of the questions?
Sure. Is there any metadata attached to the content that the AI app changes to show the recipient that this was not created by the person who was writing it?
Oh, I don't think so. Now, I will ask for the HR people that are on this call today too. Somebody, again, when I delivered it last week, I had a recruiter on the call, and that person said, I can tell when people are using AI to generate the content. I don't think there's any data that would show a recruiter that you used AI to create your resume or whatever. But again, if you don't change some of the wording and make it sound like you, then I think your personality is not going to come through, and it's going to be kind of clear that you used AI. I hope that I answered that question.
Well, and I think he was talking a little bit about the metadata would be attached, like when you take a photograph on your phone, if you flip to get the back data. The whole key is if you copy that information from chat, paste it into Notebook. If you use Notebook or something, it strips out all the background code, and then when you
I see what you're saying.
there'll be nothing there. Now, I don't think even when you're copying it from ChatGPT, I don't think it's even bringing any other data in. There's no background, but Microsoft Word, those programs have a lot of background stuff that we never get to see, formattings and things. But if you go to Notebook, notebook strips everything out, any special characters, anything, and you just get the basic text.
That's great, Jeff. Another
Yeah.
question I asked a moment ago. Do the AI apps keep or, God forbid, even own the arguments, the search arguments we put in there for them to filter in and reconstruct?
Well, they do, yes, they kind of, that's why they tell you not to put any personal information in, because yes, it does continue to aggregate based on prompts that use. It takes that and it in its own little artificial brain so that it spits out something maybe a little bit different. Even a year from now, if you were to ask it the same question, it's going to be different because it's aggregating all of that, all of those prompts in order to continue to refine and yield different results every time and better results. So yes, it's going to kind of aggregate and keep all that in there. So
Great. The third question I asked, all of us are worried that AI is going to take over human jobs and anything that has to do with human creative processes. And I guess I could expand that to if I were receiving something and if it were not, if you get to my desk for an interview and your command of the English language is nowhere near as good as it was when you had this help in your own room with your own computer, then you've sort of been outed as somebody who's not going to be competent in the language. And that's I'm wondering if that is that an issue with hiring authorities?
yeah, I can't speak on behalf of HR recruiters or anything like that, but that's, I think if you're saying like what you're copying and pasting isn't really the language that you use, or you're, make yourself sound more maybe intelligent about a particular topic than you really are, I think that's going to come through in an interview process. Or again, if you're not changing some of the information to reflect your knowledge and your personality, then I think eventually it's going to come out that you don't have that level of proficiency. So, or that's not your language that you use.
Kim, you have a question. I see your hand up.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to add a little bit of perspective to that question about, can you tell if it's AI generated content?
Yes, absolutely.
I've been part of a discussion before where folks that have college age kids, college professors and teachers have plagiarism checkers that can tell whether the answer to an essay has been written by some sort of an AI tool. And I think there's another one for marketing as well. Jasper AI, I think, also has a way to check whether it's generic content. I mean, heck, there's a lot of marketing content that's fairly generic anyway, but so there is that. But then of course, we hear a lot about recruiters and hiring managers not even having time to read resumes, so they probably have even less time to check whether the content has been generated with an AI tool.
Right. Yeah, but I'm sure they are coming up with checkers, right, that they can use for that too. But yeah,
I think as I said at the very beginning, or even before the presentation, your resume, your LinkedIn profile are not going to get you a job. They only get you a phone call. So you've got to practice your interviewing skills. You've got to, know what you've got on your resume, know what you did, and confirm that, that's, really what it is, so that you're ready to sell yourself when they do call you up.
Right. Yeah. I really like the idea, again, in the Instagram reel. I would prefer just to put into ChatGPT, hey, here's a job description. What questions might I expect? But I don't really want ChatGPT to come up with the answers. That's my job. So I wouldn't ever role reverse on that one. Again, I don't know. And as far as it replacing AI replacing our jobs. As a training and development person, I, was very threatened by that when I first heard about it and was not happy. I've attended a lot of webinars specifically for training and development, and they've all said, your job is going to stay because you have to read and revise what ChatGPT provides. My job might turn into more of an editor, right? Because I'm editing what ChatGPT. I mean, there are, even in Canva, if any of you guys have ever used Canva, they have presentations now that I could put in a whole topic and it would spit out a presentation, but I still have to look at that presentation, edit it, add keywords or words that are applicable to my particular business, my industry, my company, because companies have specific buzzwords that they use, or so you're always going to be refining that. So that's why I said you might end up turning into an editor more your job, but your job is still going to stay there. It just may change a little.
Anybody else have any questions? Here or online? If you're online, just unmute your mic and ask. Anybody? All right. Well, I think I know what some people will be doing this weekend. They will be playing.
Yeah.
Be here, at least here in Dallas. It's supposed to rain the next 48 hours. So while we're stuck, be a good time to sit there and play with ChatGPT. For those people, if you're not familiar, ChatGPT's database only goes to about 2 years ago. So unless you pay for ChatGPT 4.0, 4.0 current and up to date, the 3.5 version, which is the free version, if you're trying to, get data on companies and doing research, it will only pull data up until 2022. I think March of 2022, I believe is what they said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point to make too, Jeff. Thanks.
Yeah, but I mean, for refining your words and stuff like that, that's not an issue. But if you're trying to do any, very good. So Holly, thank you very, very much. Great information. Thank you. We'll get that handout to everybody as long as you put your contact information in the chat window. As long as I have your email address and know that you're with us today, I will be sure to get to everybody.
Yes, I'll put it in too while you're continuing on with the meeting. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or message me through LinkedIn. Love to get your feedback about this particular session. So if there's anything I can do differently moving forward, always love to hear constructive and positive feedback. So thanks for being so attentive, everybody.
Holly, thank you very much.
Sure.
Coming up next Friday, we will do open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about in your job search. If you have not put your information in the chat window, please do so. We'll get that information out. We'll get that handout out to everybody just as soon as I can. I think now I know what I'm going to be doing on the airplane this afternoon. I will be putting all this information together so when I get off the airplane, I can shoot off the emails. All right, Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Please join us this coming Tuesday, next Tuesday for LinkedIn Tuesdays. Terry Sullivan will be with us to talk about how to create a LinkedIn brand that tells your key contacts who you are, what you do, and how you can help. Please note the event will not be recorded. So if you want to watch Terry, you do need to watch him live 1 p.m. Central next Tuesday. The interview team, practice interview team next Wednesday will be meeting in person, live and in person. If you'd like to have an interview, or if you'd like to schedule an interview, or if you want to just come watch us at Christ United Methodist Church, 3101 Coit Road, the corner of Parker and Coit. Park in the north parking lot where you can see McDonald's, and then follow the signs in. Like I said, they are meeting in person this week. There'll be no online option coming up this Wednesday. This Thursday, being the first Thursday of the month, we'll talk all about resumes, effective resumes, primarily based on resumes filling out an ATS system, but just some basic common stuff that I think every resume needs to look at. So join us this Thursday at 1 p.m. Central for that. This session has been recorded. You will be able to go back and watch it on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. on the Career USA YouTube channel. Click on playlist. Every video that I goes into a different playlist. There's one of 7 different playlists. So just select the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group speakers. Click on where it says view full playlist, and it'll become a list of all the different dates and topics in chronological order. You can go back and scroll down and watch any of them that you want. Just remember that for all the North Dallas speakers, they start about 25 to 30 minutes into the video. Come join us today, Country Burger, 1145, 3115 West Parker Road. You got to have lunch. Come join us. Burger, salad, more. And if you want this burger, it's about $35 last time I checked, but you have to bring your own ham. So thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend. I guess stay inside, don't get too wet, and we'll see you all next week.